What's up, y'all? Welcome into the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. We are live courtside getting you ready for Game 3 of the first round of the Western Conference playoffs between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm Whitaker alongside Michael Wallace. We're here to get you set and ready for this game. The Thunder come in 2-0. The Grizzlies come in 0-2. After they lost Game 1 by 51, the Grizzlies lost Game 2 by 19, 118-99. Jaren had 26 and 6, Dez 19 and 12 rebounds, Ja 23 and 6. The Grizzlies had 14 turnovers, the Thunder had 7. 21-3 fast break points in that game. If you're looking at two games together, it's a 45-8 fast break point advantage for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, for the Grizzlies, Mike, I would say we got some stuff to figure out heading into this game. We've heard the team talk for the last day or two about adjustments. You know, it's a playoff series. Adjustments happen a lot. What adjustment do you think you'll see the Grizzlies make tonight to make it even closer than these first two games?
I think they're going to come out with relentless pressure to start the game. I think the Grizzlies know that they can't back their way into a game against Oklahoma City. They found something in that third quarter of Game 2 where they outscored Oklahoma City 27-20, and then they played them evenly in the second half, right? Yeah. So it was basically the third and the fourth quarters, these two teams were only separated by 1 point. So I think the Grizzlies found something. They just have to start off the way that they finished Game 2. If they can come out here and attack, make their first 3 or 4 baskets, put Oklahoma City on its heels, force them to make the first timeout and adjustment, then I think that's exactly the recipe for success the rest of the way.
It's funny, Oklahoma City coach Mark Daigneault said the last time, and I didn't really thought about this, the last time the Grizzlies played a game here on this court was against Dallas.
Yeah. And
they came out, got a 22-10 lead, came out energized, the crowd was into it, played at a very fast tempo, and he said, we're kind of thinking the same thing might happen tonight from this Grizzlies team with this home crowd behind it. Yeah. You know, see them play it at a different pace than we've seen from the two games in Oklahoma City.
And Oklahoma City used that same scenario to jump out to the leads against the Grizzlies. I mean, they scored 32 points in both of those two quarters. It was 32-17 in Game 2 after the first quarter. It was 32-20 after the first quarter in Game 1. So the Grizzlies can't allow them to separate. And they got that start because of their home crowd, the energy that was in that building. And it was Easter Sunday. It was an early start, but they came out on fire, and then that carried over into Game 2. So if an environment can help energize you and boost you, then the Grizzlies certainly don't back down to anyone when it comes to the environment that FedEx Forum can provide and offer. And these home fans are going to have to bring that as well.
I thought in Game 2, the Grizzlies had the energy. They just couldn't make a shot to start the game.
And they were makeable shots, good looks.
And they were missing layups, like easy shots, not like they were like missing wild three-pointers and stuff like that.
Right. So, they got into their offense. They got the looks that they wanted. Dez missed a couple wide-open step-up three-pointers. Jaren missed some bunnies around the lane. Scottie Pippen missed driving into the lane. Ja Morant, couldn't get going really early. So those are shots that if they get those same shots tonight, they tend to go down at home. And then you get your role players coming in on that second unit to give you another boost as well.
Well, speaking of home, Jaren Jackson spoke about returning home after Game 2. You were in the locker room. Here's what Jaren had to say about coming back home and ways the Grizzlies can adjust.
John, how important is it going to be to swing that momentum when you guys get back to Memphis for the next two? And where's the belief in terms of getting back in this series overall?
Yeah, it's a series. You can't never too high or too low about anything. You got to go home and take care of business. You got to ride the wave of the home crowd and protect home court and have that confidence and that swag. No matter what it was here, you would have had to do that. So the mentality is just aggression, straightforward, and get home.
There were times in this game where you had it within inches or under the difference of 10 points. What do you feel like you all are lacking in production so you all can get the win coming up in Memphis this next game?
Yeah, it's probably like 50-50 balls, boards, tip outs, just recovering the ball when we get it under 9 or under 10 and 12 around that area, just making sure we're finishing possessions. That's huge because you can't give a team like this like 6-7 attempts like in a 6-minute span at second chance points. So you just got to be capitalizing off that because we was guarding fairly well at times, but we just had to capitalize on that, and we just got to keep guarding it. So it's really about defense.
saw Jaren out here earlier getting some shots up, taking that half-court shot. He wasn't able to get it to go tonight. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. But I thought Jaren, especially in Game 2, was much improved from Game 1. He seemed a lot more comfortable and just seemed like he was playing more his game than he was able to play in Game 1.
He got into foul trouble early, right? He picked up those 3 fouls in, I think, the first half. Picked up his 4th foul in the third quarter, but he was able to get his offense going. And he scored 13 of his 26, his team-high 26 points in that third quarter. What worked in the third quarter? They opened up the offense. They went 5 out, allowed Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. to take the right side of the court just to themselves, forced Oklahoma City to make a decision on who they were going to double. When they doubled Jaren, Ja got going. When they doubled Ja and tried to get the ball off his hands, Jaren was able to catch and make fast moves to the basket. That's what he has to do. He has to not sit there and think. He has to go quickly because they're defending him right now with Alex Caruso, with Jalen Williams, with guys that are much smaller and not as strong as Jaren Jackson Jr. They want him to think. They want him to, kind of junk up his brain and try to get confused. But he just has to be Jaren Jackson Jr., get to the front of the rim, throw that soft left hook up, and go feast on these guys in the front line.
One of the things I talked to Jaren about a couple of months ago, he talked about the way he's been playing all season. He's starting to see more double teams from teams. And he said for him, the next big adjustment was going to be having to learn how to pass out of those double teams.
Right.
Maybe it's just better just to attack it.
And that's it.
Yeah, because the way, if they're going to go with a smaller guy on you, go before they come.
Go. That's it. Like, go before they come. Don't embrace the double team because that's what they want you to do. They want you to say, okay, let me take the double, swing it over. They're so fast on the back line. They recover so quickly.
That's the other thing is they're such a good team defense. They're on a string, and if you wait for that, they're going to make the rotations before you have a chance to do anything.
Yes.
We saw that. What's up? Look at there.
Yes, sir.
Tim McMahon from ESPN. We'll see what they do. I think Ja also looked like he had some moments where he was able to kind of figure stuff out a little bit more. And Dez too. Dez really got going, I thought, in that game too. And now I guess it's just a matter of how do we turn that forward for Game 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, make these guys bleed too. Like Dez all throughout the series, he's used these boxing and these fight metaphors, right? Like, make Oklahoma City taste their own blood, bust their lip up in the first quarter, and make them feel like, hey, this is not just going to be fun and games. They're running a layup line and a 3-point shooting contest on you through these first 2 games, having won the first 2 by a combined 70 points. Make them go through some level of adversity, make Mark Daigneault make an adjustment, and let them realize that the Grizzlies are here. Don't just allow this to be, an all-star game format for them. And if you can do that, you have a chance to win this game tonight. They're really, really, really good, but they're not invincible. They're really, 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 they're damn near perfect, but they're not perfect. You can figure out a way to get at least one of these games at home.
So it's basically the Grizzlies need to whoop that trick, right? I mean,
or they just need to win. I don't know if they're going to whip Oklahoma City, but they got to beat them. I would love to hear whoop that trick in the first quarter, though. Get it going early.
All of us would.
Yes.
Yeah, last thing before you get out of here, give me one matchup you're going to have your eye on tonight.
Man, look, as much as everybody talks about Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Oklahoma City's depth, the one player that stood out in this series to me so far, Chet Holmgren. This is a guy averaging 19.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks. His versatility from one end, blocking shots on one end and altering them and getting to the other end of the court to finish either from the three-point line or in the paint has just been phenomenal. He's been the unicorn in this series. I want to see our unicorn step up and offset that. So Jaren Jackson Jr. v. Chet Holmgren.
All right. You on the radio tonight?
I'm on the radio tonight.
So you can tune in on ESPN 92.9. Michael Wallace will be on with Eric Hasseltine, and Jessica Benson, and Bennett Doyle. Mike's going to go up now and get ready. Jessica's going to come in.
We're relying on our depth tonight. It's all hands on deck here, too, right? We got a deep show tonight.
Jessica Benson, Gary Parish is on the way, too. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, JB will join me. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
Would you mind standing in front so everybody could get a good glimpse of this? This can't be the look of the season. This is not the look of the season, Jessica. Like.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Former Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava is now a UCLA Bruin. They do think he's going to get around $2 million in California. That money's going to be taxed in a way different way than it is in Tennessee.
Yeah, good point.
So he will undeniably make less money playing football this season than he would have made had he just shut up and stayed in Knoxville.
The Gary Parish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's a lot of guys around the NBA who have signature shoes who it's kind of weird that they have a signature shoe.
Yeah.
You guys know who this is?
This is the D-Lo's, right? That's D-Lo's logo.
That's right, D'Angelo
Yeah.
Russell. Who's this one? Do you guys know?
I have no idea.
Denver
Try
Nuggets.
this one. Oh, Aaron Gordon, brother.
Aaron Gordon.
That's a good colorway.
Isaiah Stewart.
Oh no, I had no idea.
I could have just said, who is this? You guys wouldn't have been able to tell from the picture. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
All you American wrestling fans out there, watching this international road to WrestleMania should be a wake-up call. Turn up at these shows. Stop being so spoiled, because Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes,
I love it.
Cody Rhodes.
Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks.
Yeah.
I'm wagging my finger because you're telling those people that they need to do better.
Yeah.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Ling Whitaker, joined, as always, by the host of the eponymous Jessica Benson Show. I'm joined by Jessica Benson. She's here for the M. For the M. After game one, the M was for Marvin Bagley. After game two, the M was for
More effort.
Morant. More effort? I don't know.
One of the two.
I know what it's for. Main character.
Oh.
How you like this? This is what Jessica always comes in and gives us. Tonight's main character. Do you have somebody or a thing, or what do you have in
It's a
mind?
theme.
All right.
We're going with a theme. We're big boxing it.
Yeah.
Pride.
Okay.
The theme of the night is pride. And this is a team that has an opportunity to come into their home building. The last time we saw this team in an elimination game, and I know tonight is not by technical standards an elimination game, but you go down 3-0 and it makes Saturday's game feel all the more
eliminating.
Disappointing. He is eliminating in that situation. But it's just an opportunity to show that, yes, this Oklahoma City Thunder team is incredibly talented. And they are a better team than you this season, as seen by the fact that they won the Western Conference by 16 games. They were one of the most efficient teams that we have ever seen. But you still have enough talent to get one, right? And you come in and the crowd here and the growl towels are out. And there's something very special about playoff basketball in Memphis. It will take a full effort here tonight from the fans, but the team has to give them something to cheer for early.
Yeah, well, Mark Dagnall mentioned in his pregame press conference, and I didn't really think about this, I said it to Mike, the last Grizzlies game at home was that Dallas game, and we jumped out to that 22-10 start, and he said, we're kind of anticipating that kind of start from this Grizzlies team. It's easier said than done against this Oklahoma City team. You know, you mentioned the Oklahoma City killing everybody this season. I was thinking when I was in high school, our coach used to be like, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. Thunder beating the Grizzlies 6 times in a row this season, and I've had a 20-point lead in every one of those games. Don't you think at some point it's got to go the other way?
I would think so.
Yeah,
I
right?
would hope so. And you talk about the fast start. I mean, that's been something that has plagued the Grizzlies in those first 2 games. You missed your first 9 shots. And some of them were tough looks. This Thunder defense is as advertised, but some of them weren't. And you weren't able to capitalize on a Thunder team that also missed their first 6 shots of the game. So if you don't go into a 15-point hole in the first quarter, or as was the case in the first game, a 35-point hole in the first half, how are you able to play? We haven't seen this team like really get into a position. Yes, they get it to 8 in the second half in game 2, but that was already having to fight an uphill. Everything feels so hard. So if the Grizzlies can get in a position where they're trying to hold on to a lead, how do we see things play out differently?
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw the big 3 bounce back in game 2. All 3 of them had pretty good performances, way better than everybody had in game 1. What'd you make of Zach Edey? You know, game 1, not great. Game 2, marginally better, I would say, but it felt like, you know, this is the one time in a while, first time in a while, we've seen him not be able to sort of keep up with the speed of the game.
Yeah, and that was the last time we saw him in this building, was a game against the Mavs. The Thunder are a whole different beast than the Mavs, but you saw him with an increased level of physicality, which I would like to see tonight against the Thunder's bigs, against Chet Holmgren, against Isaiah Hartenstein, and the opportunity, if you get the ball, go up strong with it. See if we can get some pick and roll action with him and Ja early, where you're feeding him, getting that confidence different type of a situation for Zach Edey tonight, but I think things have just been so fast. The whole season is, you get through the 82 games, you get through 2 playing games, and you're met with, oh, congratulations, you now get to play arguably the best team in the NBA this season.
Yeah, I mean, you said role players play better at home. It made me think like the Thunder role players at home were awesome.
We could only hope.
So maybe they regress a little bit here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the biggest stat for Zach Edey tonight is, can he get high number offensive rebounds?
Yeah.
Like, this is something where the Grizzlies should have an advantage over the Thunder, and they simply have not. So if Zach Edey's able to get them multiple possessions, if those first attempts aren't going in, can Zach Edey make it the case where 2-3 efforts each possession? And we know every possession counts against this team.
Ja Morant's warming up right behind us. He's wearing the Ja 2 scratch that are coming out on May 1st, I believe. They're coming out soon. And we already saw the Ja 3s. Off the court, have you noticed, like, it felt like between game 1 and 2, like, after game 1, everyone was kind of like, that wasn't fun. It felt like game 2, like, they really bounced back to me. I don't know. It felt like, what did you get a sense of, like, the team? Like, how did you feel like their spirits were?
Better?
Yeah, it felt like that.
Anything was better. I mean, we kept saying it couldn't get worse than a 51-point loss.
I was afraid it could.
It absolutely could. And there is a literal difference between losing by 35 and losing by 19 and showing some effort. And I thought, especially for Jaren Jackson Jr., like he talked about, he heard all the noise. He heard the Kendrick Perkins rant that went viral, and he knows that he has to be better in order for this team to have any chance against this Thunder group. And he started a little shaky, and I was like, oh no. And then finally you saw Jaren reestablish, I can go to the basket. I am a walking mismatch. And if he can be better at passing out of the post too, they're swarming him. They're sending 2-3 guys at him each and every time because they know that he is a mismatch.
Yeah, Mike Wallace pointed out, like, in the start of that third quarter, the Grizzlies kind of went 5 out, and Jaren was just attacking one-on-one, and that was when he got going and really, kept the Grizzlies. I think they won the third quarter, 37-30 or something like that.
We'll always have the third quarter.
I hope so.
We'll always have the third quarter. But that is also, too, where I understand from a production and an execution standpoint thus far, it's felt heavily reliant on, there you see Desmond Bane walking in, but Des, Ja, and Jaren, and the role players have not been effective at making their shots. And so when you are being double-teamed, triple-teamed, it kind of turned into, okay, Jaren, go for it. Okay, Ja, go for it. The ball got a little sticky, right? Offensively, watching this team over the last 2 games, the ball's not moving, people aren't moving. If they can get more movement tonight, and a part of that will come with a player like Asante Aldama hitting a couple shots early to get into rhythm, Scottie Pippen Jr. I'll be really interested to see what they do with the starting lineup tonight. I think that could be the biggest adjustment
there's something
we see.
afoot. Yeah, Coach Isalo mentioned something pregame about, hey, we've talked a lot about it. He mentioned turnovers and fast break as like the 2 things they really want to keep an eye on. Grizzlies have 45-8 disadvantage on fast break points through the first 2 games. Not great. So give me one matchup you've got your eye on tonight.
Curious, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I say there might be a change to the starting lineup, but Scottie Pippen Jr. has defended
He's done a good job.
well. And even going back to the playing game against the Warriors, where Coach Isalo put Scottie in the starting lineup, and he's able to play Steph really physical. But it does feel as if there's something looming with SGA. So if that is the case tonight, who on the Grizzlies offsets a giant Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? This is why I was an MVP game. I maintain it has to be Ja Morant. We have to see the biggest game from Ja of this series.
I mean, I think he's due one, too, Shai was 10 of 29, 3 of 10 on threes in game 2. So,
and you saw Ja in the second quarter in game 2, like, really start to get into a rhythm and into that attack mode. And that's what stars do. Like, we just watched Jalen Green in game 1 for the Rockets. Was a shrinking violet and then suddenly explodes for 38 last night.
I just like that you use a shrinking violet.
I couldn't think of anything better.
All right, we're going to take one more break. Appreciate you joining us. Jess is going to be on the call on 92.9 in just a minute. Jess is going to go get ready with Eric and Mike and Bennett. Gary Parish is going to join us on the other side of this break. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We had big classic news from the Southern Heritage Classic last week when it was announced Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State will be the 2 Classic participants.
Being a part of the Classic is a big deal. It's the 3rd year for UAPB and the 1st year for Alcorn. So I'm just glad we were able to get it done.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Marcus Thornton could get buckets.
Don't do that.
You don't say? He had a lot of 30 balls in the NBA.
On who?
We better not see Marcus Thornton crosses over Tony Allen.
Yeah,
don't let us find that. Don't let us.
You forgot we got the internet, bro.
You said you might have done that. Hey, you always forget the internet exists.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's nothing like playoff basketball. Boy, nothing like playoff basketball in Memphis.
The atmosphere of a Grizzlies playoff game is super exciting.
Oh my God, it's absolutely electric. I love seeing the crowd out.
Everybody's just screaming their heads off. You feel like you're in a movie.
People are down here. Everyone's got on their Grizz gear.
The city's excited. Everybody's excited to watch. There's really nothing like it, and I really can't wait.
Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. Lang Whitaker, now joined by Gary Parish, host of the eponymous Gary Parish Show here on Grind City Media. We got about 10 minutes before we get you out of here and get you ready for the fan duel, Grizzlies Live. And Gary, you're fresh off your run at the NCAA tournament, NCAA championship. You're back here for the playoffs, but joining us in person. What have you seen from the Grizzlies these last 2 months? Hasn't been the most fun to watch as a Grizzly fan.
Well, I don't love spending every winter in New York City away from my home and hometown, but it was a good time to be away because I didn't have to live and die with it every single day. We don't have to pretend it's been rough. You know, on the end of February, they were sitting at second in the Western Conference standings. They end up finishing 8th, and now they're in a best-of-7 series against quite literally the best basketball team in the world, and they have done nothing to move anybody off of that thought in these first 2 games. It's obviously an uphill battle. The Grizzlies are shorthanded, but these nights are always fun. Like, I decided today to get on Ticketmaster.com and buy a ticket just so I could bring my middle son here to experience this. My little guy, the 8:30 tip, a little too late for him, but I wanted my 11-year-old to be able to feel this and see this and get a growl towel and wave it. I'm looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, as a Memphian, and as someone who went to school here and has been here for the Grizzlies run, what is different about the playoffs than the regular season for people who've never experienced that?
Well, I mean, it just looks and feels different, everything about it. From when you park and you walk in, there's a stage outside, there's a concert going on. You come in, you got towels on every seat. It's just... playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. All the players will tell you that. But it also is different as just an experience for fans. And, you know, I've been coming to these things for a long time. I've been bringing my kids to these things. When I was growing up here, we didn't have stuff like this. If my parents wanted to take me something cool to do, it was like Monday Night Wrestling at the Coliseum, maybe a Chicks game. This is an awesome thing, and I hope we don't ever take it for granted that there's only 30 of these things, NBA franchises. We have one here, and tonight's a big night.
Mark Dagnall mentioned the last Grizzlies home game was against Dallas, and the Grizzlies got off to that big start in front of this crowd. What do you think the Grizzlies need to do tonight to get off to that similar kind of start?
Play from ahead if you can, because it's pretty clear you can't catch them. You can't catch them once you fall behind. You can maybe turn a 20-something point deficit. You know, you can cut it to 8, but you're not going to get there. And obviously, you go down 56. That's a bad problem. Game 2, they started down 9-0, just missing one open shot after another. At the beginning of this thing, you're going to have this crowd behind you. One of the benefits about having a later than normal start is that people didn't have to rush from work and get home and grab the kids and get here and try to get here by tip-off. You got plenty of time to get in the building and be here for the opening tip. I think it is crucial, perhaps the most important thing, that the Grizzlies come out, look like they're playing with real urgency, and also, I mean, as simple as this, 6-4, 8-4, 10-6, 12-8. You just can't go down 11-2, 15-6. We've seen what happens when that happens to you, and it ain't good.
And you know that run's coming at some point from the Thunder.
I'm not pretending get up on them and then they'll follow it. They'll fall apart. They're going to be there at the end. It's just, can you be there with them? And the best way to ensure you're there with them, try to get off to a nice start. They haven't done that in either one of these first two games.
Let's talk college basketball for a second. Yesterday we saw Ace Bailey declare for the NBA draft. We've seen Cooper Flagg right before that. There's been a few players. I gave you some names. We got them here. Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Jace Richardson. Rate those guys for me in terms of their NBA potential / impact.
So all four of them are one-and-done lottery pick guys. Cooper Flagg is going to be the #1 pick. It doesn't matter whether I think he should or not. And just to be clear, I think he should. But all 30 franchises would take him #1. A, because he's probably the best prospect. B, because this is a business at the end of the day, and you don't pass on a star like that.
For sure.
For a lot of different reasons. Most notably, the day you draft him, ticket sales are going to go through the roof. In fact, the day you win the lottery, ticket sales are going to go through the roof. So Cooper Flagg should be the #1 pick. If you were talking about potential, like if they become the best version of themselves that they could possibly be, now we're in an Ace Bailey conversation because he's the 6'9" wing that if you didn't know any better, you just watch the highlights, you'd go, is that Kevin Durant? I'm not saying he's Kevin Durant or will be Kevin Durant. It just looks that way sometimes. It doesn't look that way all the time. He's erratic, inefficient, doesn't do much other than score, but the potential is through the roof. Dylan Harper was his teammate at Rutgers. I would actually take him second in the draft, but I don't know if his potential is as high as Ace Bailey's. And then Jace Richardson, in every way we define it, would finish 4th among those 4 players. He'll be picked lower. He has a lower ceiling, but he's the son of an NBA veteran and has a chance to be really good as well. I like all 4 prospects.
It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out and who wins this lottery. But speaking of lottery, I don't know if you've seen this idea floating around the internet. The NBA way-offs, I think Josiah Johnson posted this the other day. What do you feel about this? Instead of having a lottery, we should have the bottom 4 teams have a tournament. Whoever wins gets the first pick in the draft.
I love Josiah. He's hilarious. And this is a fun idea. So when you just hear it on a surface level, it's like, okay, that's fun. Maybe we should do that. But when you start drilling down on it a little bit, you run into some unintended consequences. For instance, let's say you are a lottery team and you're at the trade deadline and you're ready to unload veterans for pieces, assets, whatever, but you still might need to win a tournament at the end of the year. Do you hold on to people you otherwise wouldn't want to hold on to? And is that something we need to be doing? Beyond that, let's say you're in this little tournament and suddenly you're playing the same position that Cooper Flagg projects to play in the NBA. You're on this team. If you win this game, your team wins the lottery and your team is drafting your replacement, Cooper Flagg. How badly do you really want to win this game? So when I saw it, I laughed and been like, okay, that's fun. And then you start thinking through unintended consequences, and I think you hit some roadblocks in a various different places.
Also, when everybody shuts everybody down, 12 games before the end of the season, then they reactivate them for this, that might be kind of weird.
We need to do something to fix the way the season unfolds, to try to limit tanking or at least discount it a little bit. But there's smarter people than us working on this on the NBA office. I hope that they come up with a solution, but I can't imagine something like this is the solution.
All right, we got about 90 seconds, Gary. Give me one matchup you got your eye on tonight for this game.
Well, I think it always starts with the point guards here. I mean, one of them is about to be the MVP, barring a surprise in voting, and the other one is the franchise face of this thing, who in many ways is among the biggest stars in the NBA, even if things haven't gone so well lately. So listen, why does my 11-year-old want to be here? Because it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that he watched on the Netflix documentary, and it's his favorite player, Ja Morant. I don't know that matchup decides the game. Three-point shooting might decide the game, or just their incredible depth and talent might decide the game, but I'm always going to keep my eyes on the stars. Those two guys are the stars.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we get tonight. If you're ready to go watch the game, flip over to FanDuel Sports Network. You can catch Grizzlies Live with Fish, Pete, Brevin, Chris Vernon, or you can flip over to ESPN 92.9 for Bennett, Jessica, Mike Wallace, and Eric Hasseltine. And then post-game, we got Grizzlies Live, and we got the new double post with Bennett Doyle, Jessica Benson, and John Rosa. I'm going to call in and give them a hard time. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. The next game is going to be Saturday here at FedEx Forum, 2:30 tip for that one. So if you couldn't stay up late tonight, get out here Saturday for that one. Appreciate you guys joining us here on Grind City Media. For Gary Parish, I'm Ling Whitaker. We'll see you next game.